Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic of inter first year, that is BRS. BRS is the short form of Bank Reconciliation Statement. So what is a Bank Reconciliation Statement? Bank reconciliation statement is a statement made to match the cash book and passbook payments and make them equal. So, while we make a bank transaction, there are two books in which we record a bank transaction. That is, one cash book and two passbook. The bank transactions recorded in the cash book are made by the owner. In passbook, the bank records the bank transactions. For better understanding, let's take an example. There is a person 1 who has given certain amount of check to person 2. Let's assume 25,000. So person 1 has given 25,000 to person 2. So the person 1 records it in his cash book, that is in his book, that he has given 25,000 to person 2. But person 2, due to some reason, does not go to the bank to submit the check and take the money. So person 2 did not collect the money from bank. So according to the bank, the transaction has not been done. So the transaction is only recorded in cash book and is still not recorded in passbook, because person 1 has given money to person 2, but person 2 did not go to the bank to collect the money by depositing the check. So, according to person 1, the amount is deducted from his bank balance. But according to person 2 and the bank, the amount is not deducted. So, the difference is shown in cash book but still not shown in passbook. So, the difference between cash book and passbook is recovered using bank reconciliation statement. It is the statement made to match the cash book and passbook payments and make them equal. So here is an example which you'll get in question. Check amounting 25,000 was issued on 25th 12 2018 were presented for payment on 5th Jan 2019. So the person 1 has issued the check on 25th December 2018, but it was presented for payment. That means the person 2 has taken the check to bank on 5th of Jan 2019. You'll understand it better when we do sums. Let's dive into the rules of bank reconciliation statement. So as I already said earlier, that there are two books from which a bank transaction is made and recorded. So according to cash book, debit balance is always positive and credit balance is always negative. But according to passbook, debit balance is always negative and credit balance is always positive. For example, when certain amount is credited into your account, the message says your account can be credited, or your account is being credited certain amount, so and so amount. Next is the format of BRS. This is not the full format of BRS, but for now you just have to know that the main headings of BRS are particulars, amount and amount. This is the inner column and this is the outer column. You'll get to know it deeper when we do sums. And the next thing you have to know is, when they mention balance in sums or in the question, it is always positive balance. But when they mention overdraft, it is negative balance. So you may get a doubt that why is overdraft a negative balance whereas a balance is a positive balance? Balance is normal, it is positive balance. But what is an overdraft? Overdraft is the extra amount which a customer or a person draws from the bank because he has no money. So an overdraft is negative balance because it is the extra amount drawn by the customer from the bank, which is later recovered when the account is credited with money. So when the person has no amount in his bank, he takes extra money or he draws extra money from the bank, and later when he gets amount or money is credited in his bank, the bank recovers how much ever amount he has taken from the bank. There is certain limit of an overdraft which is not so important. So the limit for overdraft varies from bank to bank. Now let's see the full format of BRS. So this is the whole format of BRS or Bank Reconciliation Statement. So you have to draw this and then write particulars, amount and amount. This column is known as the inner column and this column is known as the outer column. So, and you have to write bank reconciliation statement of so and so traders. It might be any trader, Ravi trader, Ramadevi trader, any trader, and you have to mention the date on which you're writing the statement or making the statement. It might be any date. You have to mention the date, month and the year. It might be 13/12/2018, 14/5/2005, anything like that. And then you have to write the balance as per cash book or passbook, anything mentioned in the question. You'll either be given cash book balance or passbook balance, and you'll end up getting the vice versa of it. Like if you start with cash book balance, you'll be getting passbook balance as the result. If you start with passbook balance, you'll end up getting cash book balance as a result. And in some cases, overdraft is also given. It is rarely given, but then if overdraft as per cash book is given, you'll end up getting overdraft as per passbook and the vice versa of it. Next comes add and less. The amounts which have to be added have to be mentioned in add, and the amounts which have to be subtracted have to be mentioned in less. The add amounts should be written here, added, and then it has to be added to the whole balance of cash book. If it is 1000, 2000, 3000, you'll have to write 6000 here, and if the balance is 25,000, 25,000 plus 6,000 will give you 31,000. And then you have to write all the amounts which have to be subtracted in less. For example, 1000 and 1000, 2000. So 1000 plus 1000, 2000. You have to add both these amounts and enter it here. So 31,000 minus 2000 gives you 29,000 as a result. This is just an example and you will understand it better when we do sums. Explaining again, balance should be written here as per cash book or passbook. All the amounts which have to be added have to be written in added, and then it has to be added to the balance and written here. You have to draw a line. This line is mandatory, and then you have to write all the amounts which have to be subtracted, add all the amounts which have to be subtracted and mention it here. You have to subtract it from the total balance. You have it here. So this minus this will give you the balance as per cash book or passbook depending on what you start with. So here is an example question. This is the question given in accounts paper of 2025 inter first year Telangana. So they have given the cash book balance and we have to end up with getting passbook balance. They have given many amounts. Now we'll see how to enter these amounts and where to enter. So firstly, before entering any amount plus or minus, add or less in the main pro forma or in the main sum, let's do a rough work of it. So to do the rough work, we have to draw T shapes like this. These are called T shapes. One will be cash book, CB. I have mentioned it as CB. This is cash book and this is passbook. In the original pro forma, we never write debit and credit, but here for better understanding, I have written debit and credit. So as I've already told you, debit balance in cash book is always plus, that is receipts, the amount you have received or you will receive. And then the credit balance is always negative, that is payments, the amount which you have to give. And according to passbook, debit balance is always minus, that is payments, and credit balance is always plus, that is receipts, that is the amount you receive. So cash book balance is always the opposite of passbook balance and vice versa. So to start with, they have given us cash book balance as on 31st December 2018. That is 58,000 has been given. So as cash book balance is given, we have to find passbook balance. Keeping that aside, as cash book balance is given here in T shape, in cash book balance, as it is balance and not overdraft, we have to enter it in the receipt side. 58,000. Make it separate from other entries as it is the balance which we already have. Okay, 58,000. Next, checks amounting 25,000 issued on 25th December 2018 were presented for payment on 5th Jan 2019. Okay, I understand this is difficult, but in reality it is not at all difficult. Let's see. Let's break it down. Checks amounting 25,000 was issued, which means you have given a check to someone. Is money coming in or going out? Cash coming in or going out? Cash is going out. That is, you're paying 25,000 to someone. So you have to enter it in the payment side of cash book. 25,000. You might get a doubt. What about the next part of the question? Was issued on 25th 12 but was presented for payment on 5th Jan. I already told you, when person 1 gives certain amount to person 2 and the person 2 does not go to the bank and deposit it on the same date but goes later, the amount is given according to the cash book, that is according to the owner, he has given the money. We are making bank reconciliation statement as on 31st of December. So until 31st December, according to the bank, no money has been debited. That is, if it is credit here, it will become debit here. So no money has been paid according to the bank, but according to the owner has already given money. So we write it in the payment side of cash book or the credit side of cash book. Checks amounting 25,000 was issued on 25th of December. As 25th of December is before, then 31st of December, we consider this as issued. 25,000 issued. Next, a check for 20,000 deposited on 21st December was returned dishonored on 8th Jan 2019. So what is dishonored? So now you might get a doubt, what is dishonoring? When bank does not have so much fund to pay you, the bank dishonors the check. That means the bank declines the check. So a check for 20,000 was deposited on 21st of December. As I told you, 21st of December is earlier than 31st. So as on 31st, a check was deposited. On 31st, we still don't know that the check has been dishonored by the bank. Dishonoring is declining. As on 31st, the check is not still dishonored. It just has been deposited. What is depositing? When an owner goes to the bank and deposits, means he puts certain amount in his own bank, account. That is depositing of a check. He goes with a check and gives it to the bank. So the bank deposits that amount in his own bank account. That is depositing of check. So a check has been deposited. Depositing is a receipt according to the owner. So we enter it in the receipt side of cash book or the debit side. We enter 20,000 in the receipt side. Next, interest on investments 1500 was collected and credited by the bank, but no entry has been made in cash book. So as no entry has been made in cash book, the entry has to be made in passbook. That is clearly understood. But on which side? Interest on investments. Investment is an asset for us, and interest on investment would also be an asset and a receipt for us. So it is going to be entered in the receipt side of passbook, that is credit side. Here receipts is on debit side, but here receipts is on credit side. Interest is 1500, so I am entering 1500 here. Next, bank charges debited in passbook only, rupees 120. Debited means on debit side, credited means on credit side. There is no need for a second thought. If they say debited in passbook or debited in cash book, we have to enter it directly in cash book or passbook, whatever they direct. Bank charges debited in passbook, debited in passbook, 120 rupees. Now what we have to do is, wherever we enter the balance, if it is cash book balance, we enter it in debit side. If it is passbook balance, we enter it in credit side. Wherever we enter the amount, we have to put minus symbol above it and plus symbol beside it. That is, debit is minus, credit is plus. The same goes here. Debit is minus and credit is plus. You should not change the signs, as it is receipt is minus here and receipt is plus and receipt is on credit side. You should not put minus. You should put minus wherever it is in cash book. As in cash book, debit side is minus, or in passbook also it will be minus. So now let's enter it in the real pro forma, the bank reconciliation statement. So I've written the pro forma again. We have to write bank reconciliation statement of, as it is Ramadevi Traders mentioned in the question, we have to mention Ramadevi Traders as on the date 31st December 2018. I have not written it properly here, but it has to be written properly. When you write, please write properly. And then particulars, amount and amount. Which balance have they given? Cash book balance. So we have to write cash book balance, it is as per cash book balance. It is as per cash book balance, and then you have to enter the amount, which is 58,000, in the outer column. As I already told you, this is the inner column and this is the outer column. You have to write it as balance as per cash book, 58,000. Now we have to write add according to the pro forma. Add. So here, wherever the plus symbol is there, that is on the credit side, plus symbol is there. So the amounts which are entered in credit side of both cash book and passbook should be written in add. So 25,000. What is 25,000? Checks amounting to 25,000 issued on 25th December were presented for payment on 5th of Jan 2019. So it has to be written here, and the amount has to be entered in the inner column. So here I have written the whole question, whichever is mentioned, checks amounting so and so, and then I have entered the amount in the inner column. Same goes for the 1500, which is also on the credit side, that is under plus symbol. What is 1500? Interest on investments was collected and credited by bank, but no entry has been made in cash book. So let's write this question and enter the amount. So I've written the question which has been given to us, and I have entered the amount in the inner column. Next, now as all the amounts in plus have been done, now we have to see the amounts which are in minus, that is 20,000 and 120 rupees. Before starting less, we have to draw a line here, add these amounts and enter it here. So here I have added both these values, entered it here, and then I've added all the values of add, that is this amount, with the total balance in cash book. So I've got 58,000 plus 26,500 as 84,500. Now we are gonna begin with less. Leave some space here. Do not write less here in this line. Leave some space and then write less. Now all the amounts in less, that is 20,000, you should not consider this amount as this has been already entered as balance. 20,000 and 120 rupees should be considered. So what is 20,000? A check for 20,000 deposited on 21st December 2018 was returned dishonored on 8/1/2019. You have to write this question and enter this amount, 20,000. And then same goes for this. You have to write this question and enter this amount. Sorry guys, it isn't 1,500. It is 120 rupees. 20,000 and 120 rupees has to be entered. So here I've entered, I've written the question, the amount, the question and the amount. Both these values have to be added and written here, and then a line has to be drawn, and the amount which we get when we add these values, that is 84,500 which we have got earlier, has to be so 20,120 is the value which we get here. So this amount has to be subtracted from the add amount. Less amount has to be subtracted from the add amount. Then we get 64,380, which is the balance as per passbook. So balance as per passbook is 64,300. This is how we have got passbook balance from cash book balance. I repeat, we have to consider balance as per passbook, enter the amount. We have to enter all the amounts which we have got in add them and add it to the total balance. Then we have to mention all the amounts and write how we have got the amounts like the question, and then we have to add these amounts, mention it here and subtract it from the add value. Then we get balance as per passbook. Hope you have understood the sum. Bank reconciliation statement is very easy and very easy to do, and it also saves loads of time when you write your exam. Consider to triple column cash book, bank reconciliation statement is very easy. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the comments below. Hope you have enjoyed learning with me. Thank you.